Hello everyone and welcome back to Diablo 3. Just like last time, we're still exploring the Dalgur Oasis.
I am bleeding.
Oasis? Sorry about that. After all, we are far from done. That's the entrance which we need to take to the Forgotten Ruins.
Perhaps I will find Zoltan Kul's head in here.
Yeah, not just perhaps.
This darkness makes me tired.
Was 1500 years of sleep not rest enough?
I was only jesting.
These guys will also come down if you're still damaged from an older fight, I believe. I'm not certain about that though. But they're a bit annoying. Because it can be a little troublesome to actually get them down on purpose, and they can stack up to be quite a lot of enemies.
Need more mana.
Fine. Luckily it only takes like 5 seconds or so.
Moves. There is something inside.
It only takes about 5 seconds or so to generate the mana, so that's something. Of all the classes that I've played, at least, mana is definitely the fastest recharging resource. The only thing that might rival it is the is adrenaline on a barbarian, which I think depends on your equipment. So you could get that to be very quickly regenerating as well, as long as you keep attacking, of course. I don't think it's called adrenaline, it's called rage or something. Adrenaline is the Guild Wars term.
Overwhelm the enemy and seize his companions. There is a witch among them, and another, a girl. Bring them to me along with the Black Soul Stone. They will be searching for the head of Zoltan Kul. Scour the oasis front. Some old sorcery lingers on the skull, and it must be mine.
Over there, let us cleanse it from this land.
Ooh, that was quick. I'll actually check out the equipment when my inventory is full, which should be soon anyway. And we've almost gone full circle. Okay, so that's the outside of the area completely covered. That's where I need to go, that's where I need to go in the future, so all this and a little bit here still left to explore, and as I said, I'm going to do that. I have to say I quite enjoy the summonings as skills, mostly because they are fairly strong, they don't die very often, and they are fire and forget, so except for being able to blow up my hounds. We have a little event here, by the way.
You slake your thirst on the heretic's blood, my children.
Most impressive.
The Zul will drink no more.
Thank the Seraphim for that.
So, firstly, promises of someone. Okay, is he not going to play them? Just give me a second. List.
Fezul Alcazar promised that he would lead his followers from sinful Chaldeum to a lily-strewn paradise at the heart of the desert, and that the journey would transform them beyond all recognition. Judging by the condition of the gnawed corpses found weeks later, Fezul kept at least one of his promises.
Okay, so we're getting a lot of new skills this level, which is cool. For a primary skill, we get the Fire Bomb. Lob an explosive skull that deals 110 weapon damage as 110% weapon damage as fire to all enemies within 8 yards. So it looks like another AoE, but hopefully a little more targeted than the Plague of Toads, maybe. That would be cool. Instead of Vampire Bats, we now get the Locust Swarm, which I'm told is a good skill. No idea if that's true. Unleash a plague of locusts that swarms an enemy, dealing 360% weapon damage as poison over 8 seconds. The locusts will jump to additional nearby enemies. I'll take it, obviously. Instead of summon zombie dogs, I get Horrify. Well, a new rune for Horrify anyway. Stalker. Don a spectral mask that horrifies all enemies within 12 yards, causing them to run in fear. And this one also increases my movement speed, so it causes enemies to run away and I can run faster. Instead of Sacrifice, I get Soul Harvest Siphon, which gives me health for every enemy I'm harvesting. And last but not least, I got a zombie charger with a leprous zombie, who now as he runs he also leaves behind a poison trail. And no new passive skills as far as I can see, yeah. So this one to make enemies run away in fear and make me move faster for a short while. That's good. Then we have the exploding zombie thing. And now the fireball bomb. The burning skull thing anyway. Okay, it definitely seems a little more targeted, which is good. Let's try it out. It's slightly slow, but it feels like I have more control over it than with the Spider Queen. So I would say it's an improvement.
Please help as many of the villagers here as you can. There are no others who will aid them.
Well, I do plan to. Well, any villagers I come across anyway. That's one of the things I never quite liked about some of the areas in this game where you can help NPCs. Or rather you can't, which is the point. There's either NPCs which are in trouble and have enemies hitting them, but they're actually immortal, so they never die. Or on the other hand, there's those which you can't help. Now most noticeably in the early parts of Act 3, and I will probably refer to that again, I can save the captive guards.
I need to get out of here.
So that's actually, like, I feel like I'm actually helping someone here. Oh, that's a locust swarm. Did you see that? That was cool.
I must flee.
Need to pay a little more attention. I was still in vampire bat mode.
For saving me.
So that wasn't useful. But there we go. Event complete. Again, that would probably have been an event which would give you a Nephilim stack, but I can't actually tell for sure because I've never done that event before. Act 2 is probably one of the areas where I'm most likely to find events that I haven't done yet. I did go into both of these dungeons, I think. Yeah. And into that one too, so that one's still left. Simply because Act 1 I played a fair bit because as it goes, at least with me playing these games, I will occasionally start a new character and then play him for a while and then don't like how he plays and stop playing. So Act 1 is just one of those, just because I start a fair amount of new characters, I end up being in Act 1 a fair bit. Act 3, I just like to farm there, so I obviously have seen a lot of events there as well.
Surely I have pleased the prophet.
Because the way I'm farming, at least, I don't skip events. Like, I'm not doing the most efficient kind of farming, but I always found that to be boring, because that ends up being you go to a certain checkpoint, you stack up on Nephilim stacks, then you clean one area, and then you start over. Which is more efficient for drops, but also terribly tedious. So I prefer just playing through, like, bits of the act. Or even the entire act, which is not the most efficient for farming, I'm well aware of that. But it's more fun. Okay, so I do like the fire bombs. At least for now. To say they're probably my favorite of the attack skills. That might still be changed by some of the runes, obviously. But just as it stands, I like them more than, definitely more than the Spider Queen. The toads have their use, but they're a little short range. This one here has actually got a long range. If I'm hitting enemies right in front of me, it throws them quite high, but as you just saw, I also have a bit of range on that. Okay, Flooded Cave will come later. The Poison Dart is good for single targets, I guess, but it seems that most of the time I'm facing multiple enemies in this game, so they lose a lot of viability there. Oh, the Enchantress gained a level as well. So we could give her an armor buff or a missile ward. I'll choose the missile ward actually. As I said, I want her to be crowd control. Neither of these are really crowd control, but
I practiced so long for that.
I think reducing damage from ranged attacks is just more useful. Yeah, later in the game. Now, at this point, obviously, if I'm facing a boss, I could theoretically just change to the single target skill, and then when I'm facing trash mobs again, I could change back to AoE. But with the way the Nephilim stacks work in the later game, Mandanunogo actually, not Mandango. Yeah, but in the later game you lose your Nephilim stacks when you change your skills, or even a rune. So that means it's not a viable option to change skills all the time. You need to basically, if you want to face a boss, you probably want to have those 5 stacks of Nephilim Valor for the boss fight. And that means you have to use the same setup you use for the boss to farm those 5 stacks. Which ends up meaning that you probably want to stay on your AoE option, because you just spent longer farming the 5 stacks than you spent fighting the boss. And at least for me that means that being able to deal with the trash mobs easily is more important than taking down the boss quickly. So I feel that the poison darts just won't, at least for me, won't be a good choice for the late game.
The rockworm may very well be the ugliest creature ever to blight the world with its presence. Bereft of any features aside from its massive jaws, the rockworm appears to be a giant invertebrate. I should like to study it further, but its burrowing tendencies make it extraordinarily difficult to track.
I can't say the rockworms are difficult to track. They're actually quite easy enemies. They break out of the ground, but they give you a bit of a warning, so you see the ground crumbling before they emerge, which means you can get a fair distance away. And their range is very limited, so you can then get a few hits on them. They usually burrow again to try and get closer to you, but you get the warning again, so you can get some distance again and then just hit them again, basically. Rinse and repeat. making them, at least I think they're fairly easy to deal with. They do a fair bit of damage though, so if you're facing like a certain boss who can impair your movement, they can be a little more
Do you
troublesome.
see that enemy over there? Let us cleanse it from this land.
Yeah, let us cleanse it. We have cleansed it. That was quick.
Overburdened.
Okay, I can't even carry a ring, which means I'm totally full. So back to town it is. And let me just check. Okay. Don't really want that fist weapon. I do have a monk who is around that level. Around level, I think about 20, but level 15, he could obviously use that, but I don't think there's much point. So...
No way.
Oh yeah, I can't sell to him. I forgot.
I may look small, but I'll hurt you if you try to steal from me.
Yeah, she sells some fairly good plants for armor, so... possibly interesting. The boots. Yeah, they are better than the legendary ones. The legendary ones I could have worn from level 3, so obviously they are better at the low level. I think at level 3 you're not going to find anything much better.
Everything worth doing is.
So I'm keeping them, just because if I ever play another character, I have those low-level boots, which are fairly good. Scoundrel token. Might as well give that to him, really. And a few rings. This one does increase my damage a fair bit. And gives me gold, but I don't want to lose the magic find, so I'm actually not equipping a new ring. But I am going to give rings to my followers. Because might as well, eh?
You, scoundrel, have you seen my amulet?
Never.
You've never seen it.
No. And I've never seen your dagger either.
My dagger? Why, it's missing too.
Fun times. They use the companions a fair bit for comic relief, which is fine at first, but then you get tired of it after a while, just because you've seen it so much. I'm not really looking to use a shield at the moment. I prefer the extra damage I get from the mojo. So here's the stuff of herding. I've only got it up to nightmarish, so could be a lot better. But it's expensive to upgrade. I am now at the point where it only costs me money. Which is good, because I don't need to farm any weird ingredients that are rare. But still, it costs 500,000 to get it to Hell difficulty, and another 1 million to get it to Inferno difficulty, so not too keen on that at the moment. See, you get plenty of warning to get out of the way. Your followers don't always manage to, but they're expendable. The followers, like the Enchantress and the Scoundrel and the Templar, they can quote-unquote die, but not really, because they just... I think they just fall to their knees and wail a little bit, and then they just get back up and they're fine. So they're, I don't know, out of commission for a short time, but not really dead. And obviously if my Gargantuan dies, I can just summon a new one. takes 60 seconds of cooldown, of course, but still. No permanent damage, basically. Okay, I didn't see that one early enough, so I couldn't get out. But yeah, if I die, my equipment takes damage and I have to pay to repair it, so that's permanent damage, whereas if the Enchantress dies, I don't think her equipment even has, or if it takes durability damage, that is. Like, all my stuff has durability, and it's losing durability as I take damage.
Something is funny.
I just recalled something the Prophet said about you.
What was that?
Oh, nothing.
Whereas the Enchantress had that staff for a long time now, and it's still on full durability, so she just doesn't lose durability on her items. Means she can die as often as she likes. Yeah, I do like the fire bombs, definitely.
A most thrilling battle.
A lot more targeted than all my other options were so far. Well, not than the poison darts, but more AoE than the poison darts. So, all in all, a clear champion to me. And there's our resplendent chest. Anything else? Nope. That's the end of the dungeon. Oh well. As you can tell, we've reached the end of yet another episode. So, I'll do the story dungeon next time. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.